What up, watch peeps? Jack Mason is a brand I hear pop up every once in a while, but I've never known anyone who's owned one, nor have I ever handled one, so I jumped at the chance to check one out in person. I have no idea what to expect, so let's check it out. I'm Pete, and we are Chillin' with Watches. Wrist check. I am wearing the Doxa Sub 300T, this time on a watch gecko beads of rice using the original end links. And I'll tell you what, it is a game changer. The original bracelet that came with this, it's a monstrosity. It's big, it's thick, the clasp is a monstrosity. It's infinitely more wearable than this, and I am falling in love with it all over again. But we are here to check out the Jack Mason Canton. There was an outer sleeve on this box. I just left that off. Woo, baby. And inside you will find this beautifully dialed Jack Mason 40mm Sport. Pretty cool packaging I have here. You see it's all like cardboard and then this kind of fuzzy material. I think what they're doing here is like fully recyclable materials. Cool that they are trying to do that. But back to the watch. So this is a new dial color, this kind of blue fume. I've also seen on their website there's a silver dial and a baby blue dial. But this electric blue is, I think this is a new one. I'm not sure if it's up on their site yet, but it will be soon if it's not. Now this is a 40mm sport watch. Think Seiko Sarb if you're looking for something to compare it to. And these retail for $550. Taking a closer look at this dial, you'll see just how vibrant and electric that blue is. Kind of sun ray pattern, getting darker towards the outside edges. Logo, they just have Jack Mason written there at 12 o'clock and automatic at 6. We're keeping that to a minimum. You do have a day and date window over at 3 o'clock with a shortened hour marker. The hour markers are these kind of really nice faceted, I don't know, it looks like some kind of like chisels, maybe screwdrivers, but there is no loom on the hour markers themselves. There are those few loom dots you'll see there at the cardinal points, as well as some loom in the hands. Really nice, almost like a railroad minute track, but with kind of extra hash marks for every 1/5 of a second in there. Pretty cool looking. And also keeping with that kind of Sarb theme, they do have Dauphine hands. You'll see here it's kind of minute hands kind of blending into an hour marker there, but you'll see they come to points with little strips of loom there in the middle. The crystal is a very slightly domed, and it is a double dome, as you can see visibility there at this oblique angle, sapphire crystal. Bezel is a fixed bezel, fully polished on all sides, meaning this kind of thin band along the side and on the angle. I don't think there is a top to this, as it looks like it just kind of feathers right up into that slightly protruding sapphire crystal. Now we have a 40mm case with a really nice shape to it, really nice profile as well. I wanted to say, my gut reaction would say, I wish it were 38, and maybe I kind of do, but honestly, it fits me pretty well at 40. I do think the enthusiast community at large would probably prefer this in a smaller size. So we have a 3 o'clock crown, no guards, kind of interesting finishing in that it's brushed on the sides and polished on the top of the lugs, kind of opposite of what you usually see. Not that there's a right and a wrong, but usually it's brushed on top of the lugs to match up with the end links and then polished on the sides. Honestly, I wish it was brushed on the top and the sides with some nice polished chamfers, because at $550 I want some chamfers. Now, joking aside, at this price I am used to seeing a little better brushing and polished chamfers, and I think this brand is making an effort to appeal to the enthusiast community, and those are the kind of details enthusiasts look for. It has a 5.4mm crown, which is signed with the star logo. It is not a screw down crown. It is just a push pull, which is fine for me. But again, that enthusiast community, they're going to want a screw down crown. Flipping it over, we have a display case back showing off the movement, which is maybe a minor point of contention for me. It's an 8000 series Miyota, which is their low-end movement. So there is no hacking, but there is hand winding. And again, I think in this price range, we should probably have a 9000 series. Now, I love the bracelet. Quick release end links, check. Female end links, check. Solid, check. That is a great start. The strap has a killer taper to it. You get the full boat 20 millimeters down to 16 millimeters. Thank you, Mr. Mason. It uses split pins for adjusting. No problem there. And it has polished center links, as you can see here. And then it has this now it's a butterfly clasp. You guys know I hate butterfly clasp. Just a personal preference because there's no micro adjust and I have a hard time getting a good fit out of them. But I actually got a decent fit out of this one. It fits me pretty good. I hit the butterfly clasp lottery, but I think I'd still prefer to see a fold over with some micros. Looking at that 8000 series on the Timegrapher, we'll see it's running at about plus 15 seconds per day, which I think is pretty typical and acceptable performance for an 8000 series Miyota. It is running very clean with a nice powerful 316 amplitude and a very minimal beat error of 0.3. Going over the dimensions, we have a 40 millimeter case with a 47.6 millimeter lug to lug. Comes in at 12.4 millimeters thick, and it has a 20 millimeter lug width. Going over some of the other specs, again, we have that very slightly domed, double dome sapphire crystal. It is using Swiss Superluminova on the dial and hands, as we'll see. It's running the Miyota 8215 movement, and it has 100 meters of water resistance. Now on the supplied bracelet, size for my 7 1/4 inch wrist, it came in at 131 grams. And here is how it wears on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. You know, my gut reaction was to say I wish it were smaller, but you can see here it wears really well on my wrist size at 40 millimeters. Maybe it doesn't need to be smaller. And you can see here also I got a really nice fit out of that butterfly. Not too tight, not too loose, but I think wears pretty well for a 40. And here's how it looks alongside the 36 millimeter Smith's Everest. I do think it is showing all of its 4 millimeter difference, but I do think it maybe wears like a 39. I think I've had 39s that this wears very similar to, but this is a very small 36 in the Everest. Let's move up just a little bit to about 36.5, and it looks like it's a lot bigger than just 1.5 millimeter, but that is only how much bigger the Traska is over the Smith's Everest. Again, it gets you with that large dial and that brighter dial color. I think it makes it wear like a larger watch. I love the way this wears, but yeah, you can see it's the Jack Mason at 40 is still a little bit bigger than that. Moving up a little bit more to the 38 millimeter Seals Sea Storm. And, you know, the Jack Mason still is a little bit bigger than this. Like I said, I think this wears pretty true to 38. This probably wears like a 39. Very similar in their case structure and thickness as well. All right, lastly, let's take a look at the Loom.
Keep the Loom.
And there we go. Not really a whole lot to look at as far as the Loom goes here. Enough to just barely tell the time. As you can see, they got those cardinal points loomed and the hands as well. So there you go, the Jack Mason Canton. It's shiny. The dial is absolutely striking. And you know, I hate talking price with watches because worth it is different to everybody. But I do think if Jack Mason wants to get a foothold with enthusiasts, a better movement, a little better finishing will help to do that. And maybe make it 38. I'm just kidding. All right. Before I let you go sneaker check, I'm just wearing some black Vans as I skate into the weekend. And that's it. I'm out. It's not too much trouble. Please like, subscribe, and come back next time. Peace. That's staying.